Good morning, friends. I am Teddy Hicks, and I'm reading you an affirmation from my book, My Life Gets Better Every Day. Today's October 7th, 2025, and our affirmation for today is, I have enough. Do you give yourself enough rest, attention, respect? What about food, compassion, and fun? Is there any area of your life where you desperately need more? Can you give yourself enough today? Love, Teddy. So this one is obviously about finding balance in your self-care. I think a lot of us get kind of like in a track of something that we think we need to do, and we just stick with that and ignore lots of other aspects of our life. So I think it's so important to really feel your best in life and to really do your best in life, to make sure that you're really addressing all of those aspects of your life. Some people get really focused on productivity and working hard, and they forget that rest is equally, if not more important than those things. And so you can get really tired, really overwhelmed, really burned out when you have that mindset. Some people get really focused on eating perfectly and exercising perfectly and like maintaining this rigid idea about their health, their physical health. And they forget that flexibility and pleasure and fun are equally important to all of those things, right? So it's really just important to make sure that all the aspects of your life are balanced and that you're behaving in a balanced way so that you can be your best. There's not one track that's the right way to go and just to stick to it. And especially if you feel yourself kind of like white knuckling through your days, like, if you set up, for example, an exercise regime that worked well for a couple of weeks, but now you find yourself feeling really overwhelmed by it. Every day that you have to work out is stressing you out. You can just feel the tension building. What's going to happen eventually if you don't give yourself some flexibility and figure out how to work it into your life in a more sustainable way is you're going to give up on it altogether, right? So it's like the pendulum will swing all the way in the other direction and you won't do it at all. So that's why finding this balance is so important, because you're not ever going to be able to maintain this super high level of attention and energy in one area of your life and ignore all this other stuff. So you want that pendulum to be in the middle, right? Like you don't want these giant swings from side to side where like your room is super clean and you're like on top of the world and you've lit a candle and sprayed some air freshener and everything's under control, and then you don't do anything for 3 weeks, and then the pendulum's back over here where you're living in squalor and can't do anything, right? Like you got to find a way to sustainably take care of your environment every single day. Just do a little bit every day. So this is just about finding balance in every area of your life and making sure, I think it's really important for our brains to feel like we have freedom. And so if you're ever doing like, oh, I have to do this thing all the time, or I can never do this thing ever, your brain is going to rebel against that naturally. So make sure that you're always like, even if you have to trick yourself, just say like, I can do whatever I want all the time. However, today, this is what I'm going to do. Don't set yourself up for failure by deciding how things need to go for the rest of your life and thinking that you're going to be able to stick with that, because it's just not how it goes. It's not how it goes for humans. So make sure all the aspects of your life are in balance. You're not doing too much of one thing and not enough of another thing, or you're not overly focused on one thing and ignoring something else. For your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your environmental health, you need to make sure everything is just balanced and flexible, and that you're open to change and the normal ups and downs that come with being a human and living in this world. I hope that's helpful for you today. I will be back here tomorrow with the next affirmation, and I really appreciate you watching. Bye.